The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome back. It's Missouri Milestones here, the podcast, Season 1, Episode 32 for this week of January the 7th. First full week in the books here in 2026, and we're certainly glad that you have tuned in to the Missouri Milestones, the podcast. Guy Newcomb alongside Kent Mueller. Hey, sign up and follow us on Twitter, and pinned to the top of our tweets of our X page is the documents that you can look on who's made these lists. Hey, there's no membership dues, no secret door knocks, no secret handshakes. Hey, you're there. We'll turn it over to Kent Mueller here from Playing on Sports, and we'll introduce who we've got coming up after the break.
Yes, Guy, we started Missouri Milestones with 1,000-point career scoring list for both boys and girls. And now we have over 1,500 boys and over 1,300 girls, and it won't be long before we have combined lists totaling more than 3,000 Missouri basketball athletes. Those lists will continue to grow as we dig out more of Missouri high school history, and also as we record and recognize those who will cross that threshold each season going forward. Due to the strong response for the basketball career list, we have expanded to include 3 stats for football and 5 stats for volleyball, both for boys and girls volleyball. The popularity of these lists has naturally led to our podcast presentation of Missouri Milestones. In each episode, we sit down with one of these standout athletes to hear their story straight from the source, the work, the mindset, and the moments that made it happen. If you are a coach, an athletic director, an athlete, or a proud sports parent, this is the podcast that's made for you. The easiest way to see the list as they get updated is to follow us on X. Follow Guy Newcomb at Scoreboard Guy, and follow me, Kent Mueller, at Plain_sports. By following us, you will get updated lists as they become available. Now that you are following us on X, let's get to the Missouri Milestones interview of the week. The last few weeks, we have heard from both athletes from past years and athletes currently in high school just after they have crossed career milestones for their entry into Missouri Milestones. And this week, we will have another interview with an outstanding Missouri athlete who has earned her way onto the Missouri Milestones list. We will hear from Lauren Aldridge. Lauren graduated from Marshfield High, having scored 1,751 points in her high school career. We will discuss her high school experience and what she is up to now, so don't miss it. Missouri Milestones, the podcast, because history isn't just written, it's earned.
Things are a little tight for Terrence right now. But they won't be for long, because Central Bank makes it easier for customers like Terrence to dream bigger.
More room would be nice.
With mortgage solutions that can open the door to more space.
That's what I'm talking about.
For his growing family.
Growing family?
Honey, guess what?
You got this, buddy.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, presented by the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Also presented by the Missouri State Highway Patrol, who reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, be here tomorrow. Well, it's time for the Missouri Milestones, the podcast. Guy Newcomb alongside Kent Mueller. We welcome into the show Marshfield grad Lauren Aldridge. Lauren, how are you today?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on, y'all.
You bet. And Lauren, let's go back. And a lot of this is high school related. We've talked with Cass Johnson and Addie Roller and Michaela Burgess. And Jimmy Gummersbach from 1963, and they can all remember that first time back their freshman year, stepping on the court. What was that like for you? And take us back to those moments.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unique being from Marshfield with their tradition of girls basketball. And so growing up, I mean, I remember going to the games and thinking that all those girls were just like celebrities to me growing up. And so I remember really, really looking forward to being able to put on the jersey, to step on the court, and kind of hopefully leave a legacy like those that went before me did. So it was a pretty cool experience. I do remember like I started my freshman year and that was one of my goals, and so very warm memories of that first game with my teammates. So very cool.
You step on the floor as a freshman. Do you remember your first bucket?
I don't remember my first bucket. I wish I did. I'm sure my parents would know where I was on the floor, but I think I was probably too nervous at the time. I was just taking it, one possession at a time at that point.
Well, you scored 1,751 points in high school. Tell us a little bit about those rivalries, those games, and I don't mean any mean-spirited, but there's obviously teams that you look particularly forward to playing, maybe young ladies that you look forward to playing. Take us back to some of those times and some of those teams and players.
Yeah, I mean, just playing on like the AAU travel circuit at the time, I knew a lot of the girls that I was playing, because as you guys well know, Southwest Missouri has just a super strong, rich tradition of having pretty good girls basketball. And so I was playing with a lot of the girls, or had played with a lot of the girls that I was competing against in high school. Some that I remember just like off the top of my head, or like Hannah Cook, Ondi Haney from West Plains, several of them that I had become good friends with that were really, really great players that I always looked forward to the matchup. And I played Hannah in college too, so that kind of continued afterwards. But the team that I remember always getting up for was, as you probably know, Guy, Bolivar. I feel like that's been a rivalry between Marshfield and Bolivar for years, and so there were always really, really they were gritty, they were tough. It was always a really good matchup, and I feel like we always found ourselves in the district championship game together or the conference championship game together. And so the girls at the time, I think there was Peyton Peavy was on the team. There were several others that I just remember dreading playing every single time. So, but it was always a good matchup. It was a fun rivalry. And what's odd is it almost like felt like in high school, like a college type rivalry. Like things would always go sideways. It was always rough, physical. So I looked forward to those games a lot.
Take us back and tell us a little bit about the players that you played with, and maybe even as a freshman, maybe someone that maybe took you under their wing as an underclassman. Who are some of those players that stand out that you were teammates with?
Yeah, my freshman year, I remember we were stacked with we had a pretty veteran roster. So there was like on the team, Amanda Gorley was playing, the Bruton twins were on the team at the time. Shelby Porter was on the team. So that was kind of like my senior class, my freshman year. And they were super experienced, very good players. And so it was nice to be able to learn from them my freshman year. But going all the way to my senior year, when we went to state and all that, my people were Allie Van Diglin, McKenna Smith, Samantha French, Peyton Greenlee. Several of those girls went on to play in college. And, it was just a fun group, really talented group. And obviously we were pretty successful making it to state that year. So we jived well, had good chemistry, and so loved playing with all of them.
As you look back, are there games from your high school career that stand out that you'd like to go back and play again? Maybe a game that got away from you that you should have won, or maybe a game where you scored your 1,500th point, or maybe it was that last game. I'd like to go play that last game again, not realizing it was my last high school basketball game. Are there games like that stand out?
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely one that I want to get back would be, it was either my sophomore year or my junior year districts. We were playing Bolivar at home. And I did not play well. I think it was my junior year because I think I had already committed to Kansas at that point. So yeah, that game keeps me up at night. So I would love to go back and replay that one because obviously we didn't win. And then another one that I would definitely go back and play was my senior year against Incarnate Word. We got roasted at state against Incarnate Word, but I was playing against Nafisa Collier, who I had gotten to know through playing AAU basketball. And there was another, their point guard went and played at Iowa State. So I played against her in college at Kansas. And so I wish that I would have just had a different perspective on the game. But they were stacked. They were so good. And so it'd be fun to go back and play them again.
Yeah, the Bolivar game at Marshfield, I was actually in attendance.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to when I was with ESPN, we did a high school basketball scoreboard show, and I was actually in attendance at that game. And then another Bolivar Marshfield game that I remember that you may have been at, you weren't in high school yet, was in 2008, where the district championship was at Bolivar. That was Casey Garrison's senior year.
I was about to say, was that the Casey Garrison era? I don't know if I went to that game or not. But I remember there was one game specifically I went. It was a Bolivar Marshfield game, and it had the same rivalry feeling that I felt whenever I was playing. So,
well, that game at Bolivar, it was stacked house. There was overflow. They had to go into the auditorium and watch it on the big screen.
That's amazing. Yeah, because there was also on Marshfield there was Lacey. I think it was Lacey Bosch, maybe, and then her and Casey went and played at Missouri State together. That was just a super talented group of girls.
It was indeed. It was indeed. So you make the decision. You talked about the commitment to go to Kansas as a junior, and Kent's got some questions there with regards to your college career. But what went into that decision, and why Kansas? And then obviously you transferred to Mizzou later on. But what was it about Kansas that drew you?
Yeah, I loved the culture of Kansas. I'm a big history buff, and so they've got the history, they've got the tradition. It was, I guess, right after I left, they had purchased the original rules of basketball. Just it's something that you have to experience to be able to go and play in your home court, be in Allen Fieldhouse. It's pretty magical. That's the best way that I can describe it. Secondarily to that, I was going to be close to home. I was going to be playing in the Big 12, which was really important to me because, when looking at playing in conferences, all of my away games were also pretty close to home because you got like Oklahoma State, K-State. And so I wanted to give my family the accessibility to come watch a lot of my games. So that was awesome. And then also I just felt like I fit really, really well into their system. The head coach, Bonnie Hendrickson at the time, she had a history of producing really, really good point guards and put them in positions to be successful. And I felt like I fit that system really well. And so that's why I ultimately decided to go there. Unfortunately, Coach Bonnie got fired after my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, stuck it out at Kansas. I wanted to give it a shot because I loved the university. I love what they were about, and it just didn't work for me anymore. And so I was friends with a lot of the girls on the Mizzou team because they were a lot of Missouri girls. And so I decided to make the transition back home and play at Mizzou, which was a really special experience.
I know Kent's got a couple of questions here. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you, about the transition from high school to college, but I kind of already know how that went just with your history of in high school, you were 4-time All-State, but you weren't daunted at all because you stepped right into the Big 12 and was on the conference all-freshman team. What enabled you to make that smooth of a transition?
Yeah, I think quite honestly, it was the system that I was in. Coach Bonnie, our head coach, did a fantastic job of really walking me through, from start to finish, what the experience was going to be like as a freshman. I can actually remember, I don't know if anybody tells you this, but I feel like most freshmen, when you're playing at a high level in college, have the experience of the moment where the game slows down for you, where
Mhm.
you don't feel like you're running around on the floor like a chicken with your head cut off, going 1,000 miles an hour. Um, I remember that game happening against Cal my freshman year, or I remember that happening against Cal my freshman year. And so I think Coach Bonnie just did an unbelievable job of catering to my strengths, putting me in a system that I was really effective in. And then also I was just surrounded by really good players. Chelsea Gardner was our center. She ended up getting drafted by the Indiana Fever. There were a couple others, Natalie Knight, Asia Boyd, that were just very talented people that allowed me to succeed because my game, how it's always been, maybe not so much in high school, but I feel like how my game is wired is I don't like to be the star of the show. My job as a point guard is to make other people look good. And so whenever I'm surrounded by talent, I think it makes me look better on paper, probably better than what I should. So I was just surrounded by really good people, really good players, and a coach that I felt like catered to my strengths. And so I think that helped with the transition some.
Well, and also I believe I can say that you started every game in college. Is that your
Yeah,
memory? I
yeah,
mean,
that's true.
that says a lot about talent. It says about effort, but it also says a lot about conditioning. Okay, you smile. I'd like for you to elaborate on that a little bit.
Like you're talking about conditioning from like a like fitness standpoint?
Yes, that
Yeah.
allows you to go over 100 games without missing.
Yeah, so I do want to give a lot of credit to the strength and conditioning coaches that I was surrounded by. Andrea Hootie, I don't know if that name rings a bell for you, but she's actually right now she's UConn's women's basketball strength and conditioning coach. She was at Kansas at the time, working with men's and women's basketball, and I mean, she's unbelievable. She's probably the best in the business. From just an injury management, load management
Mhm.
standpoint, uh, I was again very, very blessed to be playing at a high level in college, and there's just a lot of science
Mhm.
behind the scenes that when you have the funds the university is willing to invest in to make sure your load management is in a good place, and training the right way. And so I definitely think that played a role in it for me. And then obviously, I mean, it's just I don't know. I always tried to, for myself, never get tired. Whenever I was hurt, always, best friends with the athletic trainer, because I definitely didn't want to miss any minutes on the floor. That's for sure.
That's great, and that has to be inspirational for the girls coming up behind you. Um, what would you what if you one piece of advice that you would give first to a high school girl who wants to play in college, at whatever level in college, but I mean, it's so different playing in college than high school. What's the one thing you would advise that girl?
One piece of advice is I feel like I would have a lot, Kent. But I will say that the one piece of advice that I wish I could go back and tell myself, that I'm also actively telling my younger sister, Quinn, who's going to be a senior this year at Marshfield, is just, I feel like sometimes we can make um, college basketball or playing Division I basketball kind of like we think it will be the pinnacle of our existence when we're in high school. And after having been there and done that, it gives you different perspective. That it's not the end all be all. After you're done playing college basketball, you get to go be, a wife and a mom and have your own career. And so a lot of times these high school games feel like they're do or die, or, you lose and it feels like your world's falling apart. And really it's just, it's at the end of the day, it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to feel like there's a lot of pressure on you that you can't make a mistake. It all plays out how it's supposed to. And so just, be lighthearted about it, enjoy the process, and then whatever the end goal is, whether that's playing Division I basketball at Mizzou, playing in an NCAA tournament, or whether that's, just going to college to study and become a doctor, lawyer, whatever that is, it's all success at the end of the day. So that's what I would tell someone younger than me.
Which I think that's great. I think that's great advice. And you've already mentioned something that, I mean, you've had the opportunity to play against some of the very best in the game.
Yeah.
Going up against Nafisha Collier, the MVP of the WNBA All-Star game this year. She'll probably be the MVP for this season.
Yeah.
But you also had a future WNBA player there at MU that has a lot more people this year know who she is than just a year ago.
Yeah.
Like to hear some of your memories of playing 2 years with Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah, I technically I was with her for 3 years because she was still on the team whenever I had redshirted. What I will say about Sophie is, everybody now is getting to know her on a national level. And I've seen a couple of tweets and videos of like, wouldn't you just love to have this girl on your team with you? And I can totally confirm that that is accurate. Like playing with Sophie was one of the greatest joys of truly my whole basketball career. She brought a level of intensity and grittiness and feistiness that I had never played with before. She is someone who works harder than anybody that I had ever played with, including myself, and I thought I was a hard worker. But at the same time, with her being so talented, with her bringing, just this feistiness to the court that was fun to play with, off the court, she is an incredible human being. Like I mean that with my whole heart. Like she is not some star out there that's got a big ego. She is a homegrown girl from Columbia, Missouri that likes to be out on the farm and is just super down to earth and is just a good human being. And so I learned a lot from Sophie. And I'm happy now that she's getting the national attention that she deserves because she's an incredible player and an incredible person too.
Well, that's terrific insight because, this is probably her best year in the WNBA. And I saw an interview that she had last year when she was still in Phoenix. And she even alluded to that she would really love to play with Caitlin Clark and talked about that. And then, of course, it became reality, which it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I've kept up with it the whole year. I've kept up with her career from, just watching. And it's been really, really fun to see her. Let's just be honest. Sophie thrives in the limelight. She always has. She has at Mizzou. She is at Indiana. And so I think she's in the right place now, and she's doing awesome.
That's great.
Again, we're visiting with 2014 graduate of Marshfield High School, Lauren Aldridge. And Lauren, for the folks watching, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, what you've done since college, your family, and where you reside.
Yeah, so I am now in Northwest Arkansas, living here. I've been married for 4 years now, and he's a much cooler person than I am. Probably would be more fun to interview than me, because he was a former professional tennis player, and had a really, really great career. But we've been married now for 4 years. We have a 2.5-year-old little girl, and then we just had our son, Cal, and he's 4 weeks old at this point, so you can probably hear him in the background. But I am, right now, I'm a deputy prosecuting attorney in Bentonville, Arkansas. And so I tell everybody I think it's the best job in the world. Super fun. I feel like I'm living out my dream, getting to be a prosecutor. So haven't touched a basketball in a while, but maybe soon I'll get back out there for a few pickup games.
Well, we just had the pleasure of interviewing Michaela Burgess, who you may be familiar with, who played at
Yeah.
West City, and she was wanting everybody to know that she can still beat her brother in one-on-one.
There you go. That's important. That's important stuff. My brother and I got banned from playing one-on-one against each other. So maybe we're old enough now we can resume.
You bet. Well, Lauren, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. Got to see you play many minutes. Always enjoyed watching you play at the high school and collegiate level. But I just want to say thank you for coming on here. You're a member of the Missouri Milestones, the podcast. There's no club dues. There's no secret handshake. There's no, secret knocks on the door. You've done it by virtue of what you've accomplished, and it's been a tremendous career. And I look forward to maybe visiting again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for chatting with me all. I really enjoyed it.
And I know now to not even speed going through Northwest Arkansas.
Don't do it.
All right. Hey, you're watching Missouri Milestones, the podcast here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, and presented by Chevrolet, Great Southern Bank, Central Bank of Missouri, and Doak Propane. We'll be back after this.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. The heartbeat's strong, steady, unwavering. Like the people who keep this country moving, doing what they do best. Helping neighbors, pitching in, getting it done. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. And every Chevy truck, like every Chevy driver, dependability comes standard.